Back home now, and Australians were tipped to spend big in the Boxing Day sales this year, with shoppers continuing to make the most of the bargains in the week following Christmas. For more on this, I'm joined by Australian Retailers Association Chief Industry Affairs Officer Fleur Brown. Fleur, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. Tell us, what have the Boxing Day sales figures been like this year?
We saw pretty robust results. I'm sure anyone who was out and about in the cities, in particular in the shopping malls, would have seen a big crowd on that day. And we're projecting a $1.3 billion spend for the day itself, with a $3.7 billion spend in the 6 days following Boxing Day, or Boxing Day week, as they call it. And that's up around 2.7% over last year, which is a great result.
You mentioned the crowd. So are people still flocking to the brick and mortar stores and not just sitting at home on their laptops buying their products?
They really are. I think if you're out, you would have witnessed it. Aussies, they love a shop. And of course, online's growing, but still 80% of shopping's being done in stores. And with something like Boxing Day, it truly is an outing, in some ways a treat, a bit of retail therapy for people.
Yeah, certainly a bit of a tradition as well for some people. Now, you mentioned the numbers, they're up on last year. Are people spending more, or is it the fact that prices are just higher?
Look, it's certainly a mixture of things. We've also had a population boom over the last year, and would be contributing to those numbers. Pricing would be higher due to a range of things. The cost of doing business has gone up enormously over the last year. So for retailers, it's still a really healthy result after a truly challenging 12 months. And we're really pleased that retailers will be entering the year with a little bit of optimism. But there's a lot in those numbers when it comes to, retailers actually making money.
And how did the Boxing Day sales that we've seen in the last couple of days compare to what we saw on Black Friday and Cyber Monday before Christmas back in November?
It's really difficult to compare the two. Everyone loves to because Black Friday, I guess, is like the new kid on the block. And it is very much a new kid on the block when it comes to the length of time it's been around in Australia. Still a lot of room to growth. It grew enormously as an event, so 5.5% increase in sales for Black Friday this year, which is really significant in the year that we've had. It's not strictly comparable. Boxing Day is often used as a gift for self, get those items off the household shopping list that are on clearance, whereas Black Friday increasingly is a pre-Christmas buy. Black Friday also goes across a 4-day period, and then some. We saw early promotions. So it's difficult to actually do a side-by-side comparison. I guess the answer to the question everyone's asking is Boxing Day dead and buried by Black Friday? And no, it's not. It's very much alive and well, and holds a special place in the hearts of Australians still.
Absolutely. That's good to hear for those retailers. Looking into the new year for 2025, what are we expecting to see in terms of consumer spending wise? Are people still going to be wary given the cost of living at the moment?
Look, I'm going to give you my hopeful point of view. We weren't, necessarily expecting the year that we had in 2024. I think there was a lot more hope around the interest rate decreases coming in earlier. They didn't. We remain hopeful that we'll see some of that shift happening in the first half of the calendar year next year, and that would make a big difference for retail. Without that, it's going to be another year of, economic turbulence and belt tightening for Australians, and that will be very difficult for retail. So I can give you the hopeful picture, but a lot of it's in the hands of the RBA at this point.
All right, well, fingers crossed for that hopeful picture. Fleur Brown from the Australian Retailers Association, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Christy.